unu mu kasai umu to abanyina umu su umu mpe board chairman dodo na kase ko mu impeach board chairman na yes minim say we great king with wisdom nti ototo no mama asumdie ede babat omu ko en wasumdie na ope no ama because board chairman e be see na wotimi free meeting nkofo no mu ya adwuma munim enotumfo pane kura to fama wote entiminim se wate se o board chairman omo munim ya adwuma pese omo kire se omo nim ade chen no omo odibire bi chen na enti ofre meeting omo mante omo ntimi nye meeting kotoko board we kotoko supporter uti asemwe o support board chairman o support board chairman onim sa asemwe a fact otumfo any team na enye ye wa nye mfiri sa current board any management we wa enye ye ono anya na de onye ne team we kura na make atino mo ana mebo that is the fire and that is the fact no kura na won kotoko ho board chairman team free meeting board chairman team free meeting omo free sub committee meeting na board member ba ku pese omoto aba no na akwa one against 6 so otina make atwa na say board chairman mpesi no ade de bae no because oni na nya asem no maka bia o mate wo mu ho ase bia no ye no enye no kure kontompo eni so kwa ni na mesire wo tuvu onim jibutim pano ye kura to kejeti awote unim zaade we jibutim otumfo pa set board ni ntimi nya adwuma enye di nketo na ho board bi so but oti ase we fi se minimade echen we fi se miname big man oti ase board chairman so fi se okutafie yansa bi a chese wo so won so ne de and kotoko board di ntimi nya adwuma ena akoka ayesiu no ha board chairman de na bawo one this you the buy one is on and am sponsor the buy ene kwa mechi board chairman it wo tu fo nyina de o ntimi ni adwuma kwa mechi board chairman kura say wo ni team nation whatever board chairman of kotoko board to say wo no one team minim de so the attention ne ko hifa won't mean some free meeting with the board members when a normal kodema kotokwa also mulyen to yema kotoko me utum for dia show munsa no muntimi ko ho meeting and to adwene mwa kotoko utum for anything ana meboa simple take over the club na on san reorganize the club no nuna na me pacho o take over the club no wata hye no ma foforo tu for me pacho wa fa o team ji team kotoko ne fa hye no ma foforo wan kasa mislo me na wan kasa we de nke ne o se yesomo pa o tribalism sem na ekoso no obi abetwe no na afa wan kasa na o say bi o team anasa wo hwe o team o bi de mpesa wa fa o team o team for che bi de mi mpehwi wo me owura ku mi mpehwi wo so se me ka ho magiatum se me ka trouble no eti mayi me ho afrim because magiatum me mpehwi wo we ope kotoko ubetua ho ka nyina ni so amu bi ahu ye nyina ahu se watua ka ama obi abeka but enye kire no udi kotoko nya skapa udi nya kotoko nya wo ho oti udi kotoko nya ska una munim ni amumpe your evil intention ade amonhwe firi kotoko wa muntimi makotoko nya asomji mentemwase tinam so otumfo nyini tim. This is our noble club and we must protect the club at all costs. We fireman also we protect the club at all costs. Otumfo ya menana me asantini ni bi ne chese tribalism asem ne yeka wa ha otina me ka chona se enye tribalism asem ene obi free baby na ba ba kotoko wa wo ye asantini a wo ye kotoko kosi say kotoko je last cap envie do say ni Sergio when was the last time kotoko Eco Africa group stage kuro mutimi duru ye Major Alassane the late may he so rest in peace any Herbert Mensah edi kotoko ko Africa fast ewie besi sabrewi why no so odi kotoko adu group stage Abey see you ya oh yeah you man na ampo say 3 years we di second with kotoko ene kwa wantena kuma se o ba bia kotoko ye wo kotoko anase ye kotoko wo amobo edi second the following year eno di first and as I say in the last year wo ye dey o defend the trophy no otumfo en se me koso se wo mu ye kotoko fo mu free kuma se wo mu nya asantefo no akofa ntokwa tension hunu aba no tina wona na mesle o se jibuti enkofo so mu hu beta enkofo mu fro mu ho se omu ye empanyimfo omu sumotumfo otumfo amu mu dibre common sense kura san enkofo ne na mesle o kan se ne enkofo ni behavior sitie no aso omu ni bi omu no se komu hu more better se eni kwa so omu man entutu ye basa tribalism bakotoko bat omu ne se kotoko kura opimswe otumfo onana enye cup na obusa afọ African trophy na osi yenkopemda enye tribal trophy tribal war enye otumfo amie na no se Kumasi Asante Kotoko mena na fuwe munkoje tribal trophy mreme otumfo se munkoje African trophy African cup but onana no e dia danim tokwa tribal war enkofo bi wani bire boni omu peso omu fa kotoko still di ye kalabule di po omu edi nye omu di po omu sika ena ye ne dokotoko ye ne ya Asante fo ye ne dokotoko ni nyina eye hu sini hu obua menana mesrawo ti to fo kula wote otumfo enye nsem nyina na ona na wosameka because am kofo na say kofo mu ye saade ni nyina no omani abre say ne dokotoko ya Asante fo no kotoko no mu di beyi mu di benyeska ebi ma ba mu de bi mu hu sike wom ekọ mu faso di nyeska ewo kotoko mu nti no omani abre o entiji wade nana ye tumfo se tutu the second club ya Asante Kotoko hini onana wurure kumese jiwade mesrewo me call you so ube intervene your intervention ube tu na etim ana ube tu na etiem no waje Kotoko kwa mi che board mu fa me Kotoko mame oji kwa mi che board so management obi agu because on the farm management asa na uhunu kwa mesrawa na de yentrene no onye the great king otumfo de yentrene no onye but osire onana osugunu so otase timi sugunu se nke bi kura no fu bi kura na se China fu bi kura no obekwa kofu omu kura se investors omu mehe team ni mana ebi onu nya adaje but se otumfo be nya adaje aye onu an Kotoko anka mepe se otumfo nya adaje pa say before ya Asante fo we mu di ye tribal war mo fatim ni mo anane boa obi ampe da bi na no mpe investors ene mrofo China for kula wo mpe otumfo wo links more otumfo links o wo wiase ahemfo the great kings here o ye champion oti ase enya saade ya ne ko no na jiwtim na wa angasa etsimutim senia opekura ummobo kura ummakotoko mobo ediani stop the tribalism or get out before otumfo very react before because so ogunu so awie makasa kire me nana sa abotere kwanso se wo ye tribalism wo ye we mfria we nye kotokoni a firi okọ na otumfo be kasa obotu de na atiem na nhia na wo otumfo mo adwuma se ye said you unfanyansa maye adwuma no. Do not disrespect Otumfuo. Kotoko board ni Kotoko management. Do not disrespect Otumfuo Kotoko supporters. Any more mote Kumasi wona baby Kotoko wono. Ehe mu se mo na mo ya Asantefo se Kotoko ya modia no. Kotoko ya modia dia na maye Kotoko. Mo na mo ya Asantefo ye ne ya Asantefo na Kotoko ye dia. E dia na maye Kotoko mi bisa mo. E dia na mo timi aye Kotoko. Sisi the last time Kotoko G African Cup. E fili ho. E besi sa abrewe. E dia na mo mo Asantefo na mo se Kotoko ya modia na maye Kotoko me ka kirem. Mi bisa mo. Mo kana mintie. E dia ya. Mo ba mu nyina sika minimum nyina. Minimum from your be G Cup. Obi a so ba Kotoko chama nyina ma mejo alase ni yi Sylvester Bantman yini mu nyina ba uti na mekacho minimum nyina. Chavis people mu nyina ba Kotoko minim Kotoko chama ni CEO ni the late PV obi mu nyina board chama foi e bien no mo ba Kotoko. Herbert Confinance went me anyi no person ya no modisa na Herbert Sicheska no de egu ka boot Herbert Sicheska no de egu ka boot na prum na Herbert Diskano from Kumasi from the Kwakla sa umba support na makap si Kumasi no waje no nana no mu kutia Herbert sa mejo alase mejo kwad wo mso nim hwi wo bo mso de Kotoko Cup finance the late may he so rest in peace wo mso so jani eto nimbo mu but onu ne timidi Kotoko so sa Cup finance mejo ya alase mo Asantefo ma chicken pinis eno ni bia bantene mo ja pinis ne hye ede na mutimi ya Kotoko mo me no tu for ne kasa eblade akamba nana wona mesino ya Asantefo kasa ne toso tuno kwa hini wa tuno kwa omu petim no omu de ayo omu business apeska come on mo fa buo mo Otumfuo kakira Otumfuo ye yimu Otumfuo yimu me tie ezi me nana kura ne yiri e say achimu say dey it's ana me tie no what is all this about nana jiwutim Otumfuo jiwutim Otumfuo say to the second kuro bia Asante Kotoko yini jiwutim na sa board way omu ba ho nyina o solve situation omu ko e omu ansu ahwe still na omu se kwa me ke nyo heavy bia omu ni say board chairman no sika no wode jeje titles it ono e wa obit na free meet on to me free meeting me boa eni kwanse sangofo no so yesa oti ase sabi we bia uni made che obi no ncheze on say utwifa ni pane so ana say bia because utufo na afamo eti a fact na enye adwuma board na enye adwuma ena ama CEO no ene ne management ye adwuma bre nkofo be hu sa bre na wo mo bre na wo mo support no wo mo so vinci wo ho kasa didi atam rough ensem fata en wo mo de kan ya na afedie wo maka na tribalism CEO ni nya kwasantini CEO ni nya asantini na mo ba stadium wo na mo se mo resi yo na no ni ho ni ade no ma me re ne management pa wo ma wo di mu songo dasobiri any David na nyina ye down ade no ma fa sa mo di atem na ama na di atem pa si we na no amposa di atem mo di dino adwuma wo ye na 3 years aka na tam na duru Otumfuo 3 years odi ani suwo kula no utumsi waye bi wafa musika fa musika wawie musika nkuntabu obu ya be sign check no kula no Otumfuo wusi we wo be sign check no board fo ya ayi ebe kwa bi chebe ma order to say secretary say wan sign wa sign na eti mi woni amopese na ne yampon sane si woni nti na me say pam no twa no Otumfuo makole onim obegye ne tim onye ne tim menene na ene kasa ebiye o fire for fire nana me ma ka bia nko yi bia fa chew nana mesrewa we dem mesrewa fa chew nana tuvo eni bre na aba se no mu si ye kotoko no o mu gutim no basa basa o mu ye no chese kotoko sore ya o mu mpe no masa ma na tiahwe kotoko pese peja o mu mpe eni ti no o mu keka sansem funu e wa bonten o tuvo we dem mesrewa o mu se o mu ka da bia eni kotoko ye na ebia siu ana chama no ye boni din a ye boni din ma e ko wiase nyina ne Kumasi chen ye otumfo nti ebia na o mu mpenti o mu ya no matia sim no masɛ no mentality bi adwene bi amode te wo jo enkofo ye kurase sɛ mo mu kuro ma meka kyerɛ mu na muti Kumasi ya nka menim sɛ mo ni bebie no kurase ne dɔso dodo mo mama nim ye nyire firi Kumasi o samote ye nyire firi Kumasi na mu kurase sɛm no dɔso ene wiase kɔ nanim ote oh yes kwase afo bi din kwa asɛm wo mu kuro na metimi ka kyerɛ mu sɛ mu din kwa asɛm mu ye kurase sɛ mu mani mere wa eni o mani nti saa na Kumasi fo wo mu professional o mu ti Kumasi e o mu mpɛso o mani bɛte ewurade we fi kura ka klase mi ni na na ka se utumfo se tutu da sɛ kura bi asante koto ani nya ne de wote ase fire burns Babylon supporters na Babylon system nko mo be support ade ama na ye mo be try say no ma be koyi ama kotokon da bia team ni na mo pese mo twene san na se nipa no okọ na maba na oba office obi nya wo sa bi otumfo men pese we ba ni atwena san we ba wo se one support we ntimi so matwe san no na na je team otumfo say to the second club ya asante kotokon yini jiwo team jiwo kotoko jiwo asante kotoko no mo say no o ma say no kroma ne basa border wo ntimi mwa e ma adwuma nkoso ena CEO so a ene ne management so a pressure nko anu mu di ma wo mu sa bra o senka board no eye one wo mutimi de professional fire edi management na chi no mu chi no mu no mo so mu ye no akwa se board match na nim na wunim board no ne enya adwuma ena ma supporters ne kasa bai heart anyhow ene bonifo mu peso mu ji kotoko chese ugu team na nka umanya konya na de ama wo mu ne wo mu de kotoko apeska wo mu de kotoko apeska ote so bad. How come say a big club like Kotoko obi ani mo wiase mu gu otumfu animu ase say Kotoko board chairman and members ntimi nye meeting entoto normal esi wo Kotoko o dey there because o mu fi say board chairman no oni ma de onye obi e o so mu so so otumfu ni mtina na jiwutim jiwu Kotoko mo fire bend them all e ojia o fire
I say boom boom boom, now let me hear say well. I say boom boom boom, now we're about to say well.
Adum TV so de adro no kasieto me awie majebre na mede so midin eduakatachi eje sikapa afi nsem no entremu eni World Bank for Africa Poor Support omuye no for bi so bosume ne mo afimpino ne do no miensa ne mo no mo twese ene Sub-Saharan Africa mana akire se ne enyina mahoden nsem no konkan panegina na so paade o my Ghana ene dikan
to bosuminim African Pulse reporter wode abetu dwa no wode Ghana edikan ewa enyina mo wode susu duamu a wo kire se wode toto abibima hodo bi eho no Ghana man ena wonu mu etiminya enyina mo wode ewo man mu edoso aman bi etise South Africa Kenya ene Nigeria ene wode toto Ghana man ho a yewure edikan na wo kire mu sa afimpinu du no mu na wo mu enyina mo wode ewo abibima mu eyo ha mu chichemu adusu no sa abre no kura no man Ghana ne wure edikan na wɔsese yɛ afra afempinu ene dunu mu de besi afempinu ne aduonu baako mu no sisi wɔ hɔ mu nkyekyɛmu enum akyiri pɔhye abɛka ho a ɛkɔ hɔ mu nkyekyɛmu aduowɔtwe World Bank Africa Pulse report akyiri mu a COVID-19 yadeɛ no ɛde nsunsuanso bɔne pii ɛna ɛba aman awodoɔ so ne titiri ɛyɛ anyinamɔden yɛnti ɛna ɛma aman awodoɔ bi mpunto wɔ anyinamɔden no ɛso ate nanso wɔ ɔman Ghana mu Kenya Rwanda Senegal ɛne Cote d'Ivoire ɛnneɛma nhyɛ dan sesa Mɔden yɛnti ɛna ɛma aman awodoɔ bi mpunto wɔ anyinamɔden no ɛso ate nanso wɔ ɔman Ghana mu Kenya Rwanda Senegal ɛne Cote d'Ivoire ɛnneɛma nhyɛ dan sesa
yɛnto akase de so na yɛfie ni entrance foforo mu na hafomantam so afro jodbrache enso ba bekasa etwede nti mu na hafomantam so afro jodbrache enso ba bekasa etwede nti mu mantam no omobre yie pansa na de hye no bia ba ho e de omusika ba bewura nwumeku ahodo mu ne nyina no wo kyerɛ de a ɛyɛ basabasa yɛ ne ntɔkɔ ɛkɔso o mantam ne mu no ti sɛ mabuno pɛsɛ omunya adwuma yɛ de a wɔhwɛ sa asomdwie e fa ne ntoma pa efra
opa no busa no sɛ baabi abɔpa sɛ yɛ ba no industrial peace wɔ hɔ anaa asomdwie wɔ hɔ anaa asase ho asɛm ɛte sɛ nsuo and electricity ne asase ho asɛm no ɛtumi ka ama ne yɛ kama ɛba industrial peace a ɛnam sɛ ne kɔɔ so wɔ hɔ no nti baabi wɔ hɔ a yɛduruyɛ wɔbi yɛ demonstration bi a ɛkɔɔ so ɛwɔ yɛnkuro yɛ bi pɛ sɛ bɛbɔ didi ɛkyerɛ na afei yɛhu asɛm a
efi hafomantam ne mo fa yɛ ni ɛnkyerɛ bu no mantam no emu na doma hene wasagefo osiade yo Dr. Jiman Bedu enso so de nkrema ne Ghana de hye nyina enkanka ene mebulu so momodi yana galamse dwumade yom do mo hokohyem no wontwe won ho firi wesan so mai ye kwa ibreto yensu ne yensas no se yana esai
ade bi odie na oya ba ade ne galamse ye kan ho asemi sabio ba banji tumi emfiri abanim banji tumi emfiri nananom ho ene amanfo abete ho na ba de bepe be tutu fom agudie be pebi be hihye ngure ase na ni se benya bia nga benyaye ka benyaye be gusu abaye
yɛnhwɛ nsɛm foforɔ na Memphis East MPP mu ahyɛbadwani baako ɔpɛ sɛ ɔpem ahyɛbadwa di berɛ ɛwɔ Memphis East ɛne Dr. Isaac Nana Efie na sɛ meka sɛ de ɔde nsa no dwuma nkyerɛkyerɛ ne nteteyɛ ma wɔn wɔ ɛyɛ mpɛ so ano so sɛ de bɛyɛ a wɔn adwuma a wɔwɔ mu no wɔn bɛtumi nya suahono nimdeɛ bi yɛde yɛka ho na aboa ama wɔn nso so wɔanya biribi de ato mbɔtɔ
sɛ de me president ɛkaeɛ no enipa de ɔto wɔn sɛ wɔdwuma yɛ den ɛyɛ baako sɛ o plan A na nyɛ then you switch to the plan B. Inti ebe beta se obi abenya nsamdwuma kakra den aka ne nyuma bi a wo ye ho. Inti se ba ko se ya na wo use other opportunity. Inti I will urge everybody say enima bi say no odo mo be wura mo ana say any other way it is hand making. Eni pa ne de na ho be ye den e be wura mo.
Enseme so na mejina na wie kasiete wa medesum ye no mede asimedin edo katachi eje isikapa
asɛm ne mu na afei akwadaa no ehu ne papa na ne papa so etumi ahwɛ no na wadɔ no na bibia akɔso okay adishima yɛkɔ Adom TV live na kyerɛ sɛ ebusuafo na mo sirim so etumi ehu readings no na ɛkyerɛ nka obi anka sɛ yɛyɛ adeɛ no wɔ nhyira ha yi a na bibia akɔso timi mo akɔaba ɛba Adom TV so ayɛ nhyira 104.5 ti yɛkɔ Adom TV all over the world bibia mo wɔ bia menkɔ Dr. Suleiman akɔaba na DNA na yahwe Maxwell minya boss me call Dr. Hopper now you warm up
say man
okay your last warm up enko okay I didn't remember Maxwell you warm up asobema uzubede
oh me nyafi
nyafi nyafi because
me pɛ de akɔ
wo hwɛ de akɔ wo nyafi because nya wo na wonyi makwada wo de wo ya aso nti de wo nyafi
me pɛ de akɔ
asoba wo so warm up wo na wo babema ene yire ne awurabe ye kana sɛ wo so de na wo ye me ne hwɛ meye no wakoma na booking kim dodo wo beti abɔ mpa yansa na yaye aso wo bɔ mpa ya mai
mpa bɔ
ai
oh se de mpa bɔ ne de na me na bɔ mpa ya na me de ne ti bɔ mpa ya me ti bɔ mpa ya wo
mpa che be ready test no you ready result no mpa ya mai wo se nyame na be bɔ mpa ya mpa che bɔ mpa ya
the distance che se ne obra gogota
obra go not here o say di eastern chair but na obra gogota is it young guy
higher jibia
okay.
If you need mulch, we've got you covered at the Home Depot, where you can get 3 bags of Vigoro Premium Wood Mulch for only $10. Protecting your plants? Mulch. Accenting your landscaping? Mulch. Stabilizing moisture levels and guarding your garden? Mulch. Protect your yard and bring on spring with black, red, and brown Vigoro Premium Wood Mulch at a new lower price of 3 bags for $10. Right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid March 5th through May 17th. In-store only. Color selection varies by store. Limit 60 bags per customer while supplies last.
Oma boshoso report ma mo so spaghetti keke boshoso ntimi no hey oh debi benyi ma de ama anochwaba na anochwaba to aso kejuwa na nkasa ni Eric Asiedu Bode.
So no more comments about Facebook and my and teacher Kujo di Fritepa and you so watch Eric Nanaja my premper NADMO Director General after Nabo Brian Champion so say he's being positive said 2024 election no ebeko yes baby will tun future go amount for any yema enko yen fantastic labor force said am was motor here power say we are saying so na catch NDC phone na say omunye adwumaden na wonhwe no wanya akonwa no mfri MPP amanyoko no ensem afei kwa no okay we Adom TV nyama hodo bi a yede ato ho no ma se wo Facebook page a obenya bi na afei wotumi ahwe na wo hu sede enchemu ni nyina esi etie ewo eho no yeda mo nyina mo se se ebrepamo no mo kai ho na don hwe ba kontem ensem ni nyina medi ni nyina asom wo we so no MP will be imposed on constituents under my watch from Ponkodua Eddie and on we you post a hodo ye go Facebook akwa benya bi na wakenka na me kwa die na CEO Edema Kimora Beauty Plus and na ye wawoda Kimora me dododo wona ama menwie ma me de eye adwuma me yi me da opa nyakopon emfa mfie bebre enka wonfie ehu kai se wo hia me a obefre me anache wa ba ajwa se wa me mo ha fa etos.
boom, now we're about to say well. They say boom boom boom, now let me hear you say well. They say boom boom boom, now we're about to say well.
Shatawali, fireman me, fire for fire, more fire, champion, SM for life, Kakai, Peocha, that's okay, fire for fire, fire for fire, so fire. Shatawali, fireman me, fire for fire, more fire, champion, SM for life, Kakai, Peocha, that's okay, fire for fire, fire for fire. So far.
Me. What Pomodino was here, here, papa. And noting a Pleasure Pro Enterprise. And then marry her Mr. And then marry family was Ediaba. The car could be a general community. You could see a dance, papa. I'm out for AD.
Marie's herbal mixture, auntie. I'm about so many swan. Me booming sound, what I mean, see you be a. Ne science, yes, you me. I'm a your best in one casa.
Me, Marie's feminine was. Me, you saw, na me see Joe. A boss, yes, you were here for. And my way, come on. A sensi and carboni be a few. A man who see you so.
Every year, and you're in summer. A drawing. You're from mapping for. Or bataya, or money banofo, and as a collab when you feel doing a 2-4, every winning share Pleasure Pro Enterprise from 050-159-4557. Number one Sankaudi, Pharmacy Drugstore, open your biato, Nakai, Nationals, the Adie, Ready and careful.
Amanfo enkankane akuafo a mudua bro wonhwa brofo yipa otimu se abro no tiabo na haba no nso nyina nso ye mono abro nani soso abrodua no nso emu oduru na abro hwene no nso eyetum kama na nigesam kra ne se abro hwene no atiabo na esoso nso
hintasem Michael King eduro won waso bia ye de hye abro aba ansa na edua de aye ne se ema abro no nya ehini bebre na asan so ayakese na atwa ne hini no so ama na rura asase no bebia akoptwe asase no srade a ebro no hia ode beso obetimi de Michael King asan de aye no bai bia Michael King ebeso mo sompa
Michael King chabrontin no muden na enya dwuma ma oyi wo pedudu etu a frɛ Agromonti 0244-888-713 Michael King eya King Kong.
Impressor oil na capsules kra awode nu a eboa eyi yawa enam sasabro usisi wachiri bremo ne afei waposo nyina free ni padua no mo Impressor capsules kra awode a etumi boa esiesie no mpa eho akokwa ne entokuntokro de demo ene afei waposo gregra awewe no nyina esiesie no ema no ahode mfoforo kra wope adura obetumi de wo ho atoso na ayi wo honam ya wo nyina de a ene Impressor ne adura wona owo yefunu yade mpo etumi no mbie se onom Impressor capsules now the Impressor oil twitwi bia eye wo ya no a ene ne wato adi ya wo bedwane entem so kra Impressor ya wo bedwane. This advert is FDA approved.
Morning, time to wake up. Feel every taste, never spread. Top chocolate spread. Every day, it's our drink. Top choco instant mix. It's 3-in-1 and tasty too. Made just for you and I.
Top Choco chocolate spread. So when you be before bread anymore, and I think you come say now Top Choco instant mixed chocolate drink this way. And you 3-in-1. Edge to phone thread 0551 033 033. Top Choco. It's chocolatey.
We've had news file over the weekend, and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
On air. And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
Say boom boom boom, no we're about to say well. Say boom boom boom, no let me hear say well. Say boom boom boom, no we're about to say well. Say boom boom boom, no we're about to say well. Say boom boom boom, no let me hear say well. Say boom boom boom, no we're about to say well.
Shatawali here. Fireman me, fire for fire, more fire, champion, SM for life, Kakai, Peocha, that's okay, fire for fire, fire for fire, so fire. Shatawali here. Fireman me, fire for fire, more fire, champion, SM for life, Kakai, Peocha, that's okay, fire for fire, fire for fire. So far. More fire. Guys, leaving that so high. The rich and poor. More fire.
Songo. Ochadunie. Wani jami. Ochadunie. Wani jami. Songo. Songo.
What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame.
Songo.
What a shame. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. That we were born, you never see the right.
Songo.
On the ground of me with a zero. That we were born, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame. You never see the right. On the ground of me with a zero.
Songo.
Sign up with iron. The money will be signed up. The dragon for you. Bring back the money will be signed up.
Songo. Songo.
The money will be signed up. The dragon for you.
Songo.
But we no want to hear no more about your brain. Sir Francis Drake, it is a slave driver likewise. We no want to hear no more about your brain. Long John Silver, that never rapper used to the suffer as this. Bring back the money with the sign of the lion on you. Walk and talk and tell your friends that I tell you that. And if you take back the money with this sign up, it's a gone money. Just sign up to feel where you feel bring back the money with this sign up, with I am money.
My goodness, my goodness.
Colonialize our kind Lord, bring back the money with the sign of the lion. Lion dollars you want to see in a jam jam, take back the money with the sign of the lion. I am so tired to hear the song of bring back the money with the sign of the lion. The lion dollars can satisfy the wants and needs. Bring back the money with the sign of the dragon.
Give me international. Give me international. Come on, give me culture. Give me international again culture. More for international. Jesus! Open up! Open up! Open up! Ah, yeah. Bitch! I do gas play this morning of the international. International. Come on. It gives me inspiration and music, man. International. So that is why I can refuse it, man. International. Bang you up, fire bang you up. If you are no money, I love it, man. International. Professional. More fire. Come on. Fire. International. Give it to me, man. More fire. Give it to me. More fire. Bless. Bless. My goodness, meditation, man, international. Chamberlain Kizzy, yeah. First in your seat, man. International. Jesus, Jesus. International. Babylon shall fall. More fire. International. I say it's a Chamberlain Kizzy. Hey. International. You go see man international. Come on, jump. Man can't do it without a man. Come from Taiwan like international live on Asampa 94.7 FM. Come on, live after that. More fire, Juwala from more fire. Hey. More fire, international. Thank you. I say school children, they love it, right? School children, they love it. What's more? School children, they love it. International. You got it. School children, they love it. Oh, international. Fire burn you. More fire. Come on, be. Feed them on your coupons. After them, come fire burn them fake pastors. Fake pastors. More fire. Woman, no ma, and no more heroes, or more girlfriends. Omaka picture. No, there is signboard. Or say, come to my church. What do you say? Yeah. Saa sɔre no ɛde nsɛm mɛkɔ. Saa sɔre no me ɛde nsɛm mɛkɔ. Ubohu pastor no, sɛ sɔfo no, sɛ evangelist no, sɛ reverend no. No one is any hero, any girlfriend. No make a picture near the signboard. Or say, come to my church. Come or come one, said the idea. We were Kalabuli, or Mudi Beji Musikedi. The poor selling a more you collection every year. Bear man in a year and softening a year in Bukufino. A move to a pa, category ready. Imunam could be seen your team. Said you, what it about you? Unyentity. And was the bear man and a yin me. Or gelado no quantity no. Was his circle to Jerebu. Aya wakupichi. Nonsense. Asiakeka, some akupichi. Ah? Aya waere, akupichi. Nti yasisa solisika di amano. Or the way a mutuni kutoji enkwan. Jesus Christ to your miracle ni was in my pastor is good. Me suffer na a miracle. Who told you that? Maybe so. Say Jesus asole. Osole da bay. Jesus asole nyina so adwen bone poa ne kutamo. Adwen bone. Le boa. Jesus asole no. Edie na moma na da edie am ye hu se Jesus asole. Edie adepa. Edie adepa na mo da na di. Am ye hu se Jesus Christ asole. Adwen bone nko a. No kwa asole kwa. Fasting is we be. Or ye fasting no kwa. Obi a ye fasting. Ye bobo. We the video no better now. Chata obi a ye fasting no. Ti o. Nipa enkana kure. Nipa ye devil. Nipa. Say you, me the video no be ma. Memo yi. Legon cities. Any kotoko margin. Obi a ye fasting. What can Legon city bench no? Or you momote o mazua. As a kotoko isa o okuta nsuo no na bibia. Tatan track ne so no bompaye no problem. Tam ye bobo no. Tatan track so no bompaye because we are fasting. Okay. No we fasting na wie no. O se be kuntoko obi a we fasting ye kuntoko. Obi a we fasting ade ya. Wo hu fireman. We ko bia so se ye she fireman aba match we dey. Wa ba no kuntoko match dey. Eni hu. Just unnecessary attack. Obi a we fasting. Obi a we fasting. Oh, me am me see me show video no be fetch. Me the bedman said you pursue you be. Na near town mu kura say new town boy ayi Sariki basa wa wudi obroni no won ko for libya obroni ko for libya obroni bu fu ya no ti mini anu ye fasting dia in just ye fasting I didn't know so yes I'm what at them. Shatawali ni fireman, ni fire for fire, I'll be back.
So the first thing they do when you wake up is check out highlights. And then all you go remember, I for take the kids to school. He left small you drop the ball, boss, you go fit meet your deadlines without ever missing the game. Now you be true boss. You dey make it to date night and game night, but still they catch the game, right? Hey, Charlie, boss. You dey bring you the best leagues for any screen top, wherever you dey. From only 59.99 Ghana cedis per month. Live from Super Sport on Showmax Pro. Sign up on showmax.com.
Bro, I will always take you serious. Then I'm more trust me, sir. Malaria drew Lumitrust no. And nam a year Juman Kasa.
Intisa Lumitrust wa a to me malaria say.
Me catch them say Lumitrust Forte and then Lumitrust DS. Yeah, yam pen for dear. And the Lumitrust suspension. Yeah, yam of Friday who dear. Some quiet test na malaria umwa. Mumu and one some copebiato. After 3 days you know I won't fail me no. Na what?
Lumitrust Forte and then more Friday Lumitrust suspension.
We can trust it. Lumitrust. Our pharmacists need license chemical shops. Mopadodo a Monfre Pharma Trust Limited. And now Monfre 0561 088 666. And now 0561 088 663. Lumitrust.
An effective anti-malaria you can trust. FDA. Ashosha ejedi enkra toimu ajatum se eye.
Shatawali, fireman, fire for fire, more fire, champion, SM for life, Kakai, Peocha, that's okay, fire for fire, fire for fire.
No time for any imbecility. There's no time. More fire. Ujana Cheshibabia. More fire. Timberland Tuesday and the date say. 11th April 2023. Enem 2023. Odasoma nipada seni edada. Odasoma nipada seni edada. Me say also we fasting. Also we fasting. That is what kuntokwa. You be no me tiase. Where from you? Oh, you're fasting. Why do you do fasting? Maybe some more dinner or to boss a chill with your come a bompire. A day, oh, be our chill with your come bompire. Oh, kuntokwa. Oh, football, I say to trust him. A day, and your Ghana, when you say will be access to it be a football stadium area. There are specific areas be or chance to be there. What they are there. And I say when you accreditation to be there, and I say access to be there. You got it. But and you Ghana, I mean, tears in Nipam percent. Even ukuta wa accreditation, kula wato ticket na yama ukonya se confirmed so ana ko dressing room ana se ko stand A ana ko stand B no. Still, we probably want to say on penal. Say any about football. Football, say any about bad officiating. And in the community position, I may have you bad officiating, supporters a teacher, some hooliganism, and tokwa. Or Bonnie Homer, obey CCY to trust them up, boy, basa. Or we are, or expectancy a bit treating ye, and I am one yan basa. Football, win, lose, or draw. Bad officiating so come into Montiasi, be our bompire. Month of what? Ramadan. Yeah, Empire Bonnie Bobby. Fasting the baby. Made a piano to me. Any day. That's my choice. I have my body. Me waha. Me nyanko ponoso. Me ala noso. Me timisi kremodem. Kremofo dem. Me timisi asole for so them. You think half a blonde say hallelujah. God is great. Hallelujah. God is one. So some call him Allah, some call him Adonai, some call him Jehovah. Jesus is one. Hallelujah. God is great. Hallelujah. God is one. In Incremo 4 year fasting, I'll be to my baby. A Christian 4 year fasting. Now fasting, try moving can't just say fasting, now we're fasting. It is a prayer without ceasing. You need to always be speaking with your God. When you're upon us, what's the beer winning Amikasa? And you don't need a 6 to 6 fasting. You don't need 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. fasting. Fasting, you know, open so fasting, and I say, who bomb trade upon your coupon. It's your strength. No one more beat me. And God will see you through. Allah will see you through. But, you're fasting. Who do you team about stadium? Obviously, the team about stadium. Will be our fasting. We so me fasting. Medium and quarter time track is to Uncle Gina or Mompire. A time kura in a perimeter, tartan tracks. Yeah, Bobo. We say, you're fasting, we say, you're Muslim. We put one, we are allowed walk about. We are allowed walk about. Yeah, you're first half of the year. Now, Kokuntawa. You're both first half of you be we are allowed walk about. We are fasting. You're both first half of you. Okoya woni opposition team a management and munipa e kuntokwa e dey anyhow ala be na obompa ya chele no sa na ye chele mpa bo no bo amana ko hin ewi asi bi de mama ni ye wi asi o mama wi asi ni ye wi asi pa what tina makachiro me maka me masa kachiro say we are see we empty moving sisi this modern world if we are see away any Ghana ha na won empty moving sisi wuda movie sisi wa fa no ho di okọ na me say wo di ye me de beyew me wo di ye me professional me so me de beyew makachiro me say professional me empty ma wo bien sisi me eyo se no wafako eyo se waba babi chantu wabe bia wajisikako bu diskabone to nyame me nyankopon so utiasi bu diskabone o yes bu diskaba deji those times me son was bu diskaba deji je konfano teaching hospital o Kumasi o so bu diskaba to be de deji employment pabian sisi was as you is Ghana. Conforming to devil people. Conform confidence Christians. Kalabuli, the Agni bully pafasu, dinipe anyhow. We live to see more fire, burn them all. Said you the video in the mouth. You show it. No time, sir. Hooliganism, any bad officiating who come into position, you understand? More fire. Fire for fire and life was FM 94.7 FM. Fireman, fire no. No time for any imbecility. I see there FM 105.9. Takra the more fire. Fire for fire. Jewel FM 102.7. Do I contact more fire? Then we do a Facebook Adum TV a fire for fire live. GL Radio China live. Fire for fire. A good you some fire for fire now. Our DSTV live. Channel 280. And a Go TV channel 178. Medi Patrick Osajima, you can call me country Matogo. Fido for a boy Bosia. The whole Ghana. Ope Jumeku over Bob Bosia Fido. Fido for Bob Bosia pa omi good. For Bob Bosia no tia. Fido omina Bob Bosia. Fido the anyone say phone star 711 star na 999 hash waba ka ho na wabɔ sen na fido abusa se sika sɛ busia sen no fama ho na ɔbɔ busia na fido na otuaka fido bɔ busia very credible more fire super fight energy drink and one you kutam super fight energy drink no cafe no alcohol cafe beer any caffeine kakra bi o there's no caffeine there's no alcohol a war natural honey utasin natural herbs a war I am free natural honey a war and ahaban in mula that is herbs natural international natural herbs papa ahaban natural herbs and the dear fra aye super fight energy drink a good energy drink e ma just have one thing ankasa energy drinker obetin cancer one energy drink no cafe super fight energy drink more fire no time for any imbecility there's no time ojana shiwa abede obeba we back commentary position baby girl go sell out mommy super fight energy drink more fire fantastic no mommy fido almost so na bobo busia fantastic famo pia fama mesusu na famo pia no water can quench up the fire inyankopon so GFA should wake up. GFA Katoku wake up. It's not about only elections. Our person you elect as every president. Every president no odi but unya obeto aso ase DPM. Aminu shado munyina wa mo madwumanti omunya obeto aso every president. Meboa na kofu awamu madwuma ufiefo kofu awamu madwuma uniamu ufiefo pram say ni sister na director o he to play every president to mu nyina person to aso as every president because omu sunu say yetua omu si yebetu omu yebepamo meboa aminu shado say it is we blasters management team manager onim secretary ni wo pebe tu no because o kolandi kusuya dia because secretary person we team manager sentesa oba so ko amani team manager juma ana me bo entesa zan ko amani team manager juma o se fata uma wa mo madwuma o mu nyina no mo se fata na every president who G allowance who G ball musica OG allowance as every president. OG BBB. Ade na unsole na local league no enya papa. Ade na local league no emunya den. Local league no omunya tutwasem ntokwa. Bad officiating. O say referee ni SCC no wa officiating boni. Referee na kwaje bribe no so oni obio on buta receipt on bribe by my receipt so we did bribe or say referee na kwaje bribe anything one blue referee and our blue players and our wire to trust some blue supporters what point what be that sani in football in football the best to Africa. Football shots here. Africa has a Blasters G 4 times. Kotoko Africa Cup has a African Cup. Okay, Olympics Kobe.
The all-new Nissan Ariya is a fully loaded EV. It's brimming with style and power.
Up to 389 horses of it.
Innovation and intelligence.
E-Force all-wheel drive.
It'll pin you to your seat.
Your very plush seat.
The all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with E-Force expected availability early 2023. E-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. E-Force and 389 horsepower available on Platinum Plus. Nissan calculation using 1-foot rollout testing with long-range battery and E-Force only in sport mode with E-Step off. These results are for comparison only and should not be attempted on public roads. Drive responsibly. See NissanUSA.com for details.
Dwarfs munyina akubi. What in American go force move Kobe. Cornerstone. What I'm saying is, Africa, not Ghana in football. We a dimupa. You would do local scene in near Popo to Komoya, the Omoko Africa, and Ompuakura. Rekotokonia said Mumusa. Share political violence at Dubai and Tokwe Dubai. Mibwa, Rekotoko Zamalek. So in America, China has those times experience more common fast Muji Champions League. If football no Africa, Ghana you can you mubi, you do mubi, but then must say no because of my interest. Mudi equal as a conflict of interest as so too much. More and more manage players. Most of the players in national teams. And a more appointment anyhow our national teams because muna moye leaders and amonya display. Muna moye chairman, muna moye president. How? Conflict of interest in the doors. It food didn't was a same football as here. Because who didn't was a same. Oh, yeah, me and some fata. As chairman, as president. What I say, into hooliganism, no cause any bad officiating. Ultimately, address it and can ye. Nankene 21st century. I walk 2023. You couldn't talk about football, we say. The basic cry should be once a while be as a out of if you are bare 100 matches, if you are to assemble, could be maintaining once. Just a name football, you win, lose, or draw. Still Monte. Football, you win, lose, or draw. Referee back a year match, 21st century. Na supporters, no, your both first half match, we are no Marco Blue referees in war, or dressing room. To referee the second half, bad officiating. What I say? But referees in no mudio, and your mudio, Munini say, Omu to your bribe, Massa referees. Oma Mumu Scanda, and now Oma Mumu, I day at the Omu match be a Momuda. And the other one, Massa referees, can I say, yeah. One can't check referee to one. Referee no any mistake when he say referee na kojiska because one were tiel iskada. One man bribe that. Meboa. Sa no mu ehunu. Meanwhile say be that day kura referee no. Just a good officiating. But when he say what tiel iskama oda. Anything we all pull. Referees mon mene kakra. Referees association referees mon mene. You people should think twice. Munini kakra na nkofo no mo bu referees ni nyina mu na referees ni na no onim se waje bribe onim se wa ma bribe da what di match amaneda enti wo be di match etia no ebi su kura da di na unko jiska bia na wadwene mu ye fine ye ni upayinfo metimi ahwesa no ma wi ama sa no ma wi nyina etuatwa because omu nyina etuatua bribe bi omu nyina ye tutuasem omu nyina eye tutuasem tokwanko na ekoso ewo league center obekọ na we no nko na we nkontokwa we bu wamena ye nhuna ball aye bo referee di 2 minutes atoso nipa ni ntimi shego still obebo match na esumu bakura wo pekwan bi so ajigo anasa agi penalty e di ama eye team no etutwa ni nyina ye tutuasem eye basa e same league no referee nyiniye supporters nyiniye because chinchina ma waba me home or say me show or say me G League ni kwa say me relegation or say me ka eye league ni chese or say kwa bias waba me kromu de or say me she ya mo bossa ball de wa show wo kroma wa show no aye draw obi anko ukuni kroma wa anye me hwe Sandy yeno o football ono so nya o hwe no ono so abo ne kama o hye na wa hye no wan hye na wan hye no wa hye wa draw obi akọ good officiating yempewe ketekwaku eti wonim good officiating adiso wo sua nyina wakọ Germany se wo sua de unim bo nim o links o baba ye football bring back the love no time players agent man who players will be any Majuma who ye team Dreams FC now can I will be any so we director of Dreams FC FA president that conflict of interest wing in a crew way ye suradie ye near fear sebi system no enye papa e koma bimo en koma bimunti yentiminka abroni conflict of interest na keto kukuta no enye de abroni beso so ama wo de aye FA president da anything want me and can some na ekoso we league ni like enem 21st century there ye kunto kwa football ase ye football no aye basa you need to address it also you can your league na basa you need to address it also you can league na dead league ni tokwasa league na sisie league ni bad officiating league no court sentence bia e wa dani war zone ya bobo otimi ti watem sa obi anya ebo no obo ekurase yengina yefi ekurase obat ebi mu fi ekurase too much mu me humo yengina yefi ekurase obi anu a woni kuru enkran fo kuro mu so muti akura no o makurase ni wo so free Jamestown ekurase me boa wo so free Jamestown ekurase but wo free Kumasi no abetena nkran ha se ti Jamestown onim se what city me boa eso obi ekurase no otiase yetu kwan ko league sentence ni bi ekuro ni bi awtum se wo mani ntie ekurase wo mudedo obi ti akem edi akem no ntimi nka bi na se me metimi aka edi atem ni bia edi atem ni bi na wo ma otiase o maami o papa tese o maami wo ba bi no o maami o papa na eyi tese ensem free o ma no ba no to se ekurase ni ekurase wo mu ekurase wo mu sesa o mu they are like monkeys should I say it they are behaving like that I say animals ebi mu behave it say moa football ase football na ye kwa akobọ no ye kwa akọhwe football ebi mu behave it say moa ebi mu behave it say moa ewo football ase ni ani pano baby ofiri ba ni awakodi ni awakonom ni awakofa wo ba football na se a etutase mo be dia temu sa wonya abakro de bobom ni wa so players ni jina park ni so woti wo team ni hye o we se wo team ni coach ni ye se players ni ye se wo team ni wo ma train ye players ni jina park ni so ball na costume nyina wo park ni so no supporters bi kura timi believe say wa wote bench baby ana say wote stance baby ana wo jina wo baby kura no ona wo bobo no o ye supporter wa ba stadium ball ni costume wo park ni so na players no emoni ye wu players to papa so no wa wo jina stance mu baby ana wote enchen baby a wo hwebo ni bi no on supporting the team no o believe say wo na wo bobo no say wo na wo ma players ni mobo ebi kwa believe say wo ye mala mo ye duru a wo aduru na no afa wo didi atem ni etutu asem entokwa na koso ewo almost the various league sentence what you say almost ni baby entokwa no kopa yin kurasi Kumasi Accra ensi wo Kumasi Accra Kumasi ni Accra baby as National Sports Stadium no one normally na it's na sam class na akoye wo mu park no tutwasam ntokwasa huna sa tutwasam ntokwasa huna enkoye munyan susuasupa munyan puntu papa bia se mo nyai se tutwasam basa na mudi wo football mu no football de yakuntokwa e wa ase sei wantimi ansha obi na amu anhye wantimi ansha obi na amu anhye na sa ofi say referee anu wa tro protest na de ko and you who are bad officiating so expect to you banding records no anya say you twa ma so o twena so no banding no you need a system for life referees ni kan won to kwane koso atutwasem bad officiating ni na wakoji bribe bad officiating ni na yesi panyin bi asma we mu na FA president ni nkofo etan teams ni bi ye bo teams ni din na bokotoko sa ase otan wo mu oni na ma referees ekosisi wo mu say why should say no ma basa we nyina akoso aditi no say ye gwene sa football enka wo say ye bigina park so a menu mienu referee awesew no nimbo no betumi ahye de yonko e di enti no say bad officiating koso ni ye hunsi ye panishi wo mu ye hunse referee no ye bibia me ye hunse ampa ye ninje officiating koso ye ninje etutwasem koso ye pese ye sisa na Ghana league ni ye football ye fine etinka punishment ebe no ebe mo obi ehunse obi ni bad intention matim bi but punishment ebe no ase ne ye punish bi echina ye punish bi ye de ni hwe bi echina ye mfe ni hwe bi ade FA president ikura ni stadium kura omuso mu ma meni wura park ni nyina ye tutwasem ye se woto nsankwa na ye tutwasem ye se woto nsankwa na ke tokuraku wo park de wu enya wo na wo du sika ye de ba bia wo bobo dreams FC fireman me ba se me ba be hwebo wo se mo ma me wura mu mpemi sika mo ma me wura mu ni nyina ye tutwasem o nya pupa ye tutu ye nsa ye tutu ye nan pupa ntokwa no se ye pai obiti ye de boa bobi ya twisikan ye de aba bobi no enya mu kwa na ye tutwasem ni bi ne se Aminu Chadona o ye team manager ma Blasters obi o team manager ma Blasters etimi ene ne nkofo ka se fireman wa basket stadium be hwebo tutwasem be kosi nkofo ba boniti ye mani ura stadium ye nkofo mu gina gate wo se ye mpe usika ni nyina ye tutwasem uta we FA president bia wo pese wo to aso wo nkofo pese wo to aso sa no we nyina I te say wo punishing nkofo wo hwese punishment cost but enye ne kure ni omu ye o da wunu wantumi anka wo hwe because only movie e dey na chese wo ye FA president papa ke to kure kuma bisa if I want to be on you I can be on you FA president no kan wona Ghana league officiating ni hooliganism cost ye basa because Sergio Tio fireman the whole fireman country manson go Patrick Osajima mabadawu me ba no man ka se ma accreditation na mode ma amen e wa wo ma FA na ma accreditation maybes na koji ba violate enya no me yusi matia me boa masika aba ye league ni matia gate fee wo so bum pay sika we enya tutwasem ni busaw that means ke to kwekwe tutwase o tutwafo ni ke to kwekwe no ye FA president no wa hwama ni Dreams FC onu wo mu aye tutwasem atia fireman so mu ma Minura Park na eyi domafo na ebu nkofo kum nkofo a ene na obani wo mu ene na obeka wo FA president no de wo no fireman must stop me from going to the stadium minkuta sekan minkuta tuo oti na meka na se minkuta sekan na minkuta tuo no aka se me ma nko eye stadium wo so oti na meka twa na se oti wo mpami sika fireman ni kwa se oba ho ma brushing off aye ni di sa keke fi se nyehwe ene na didi mo nkofo pipe nkofo ti ekehwe sekan ni kontiba se Ghana Liga referees gusu officiate basa abone kan referees officiate ekosu nyina FA president ni hooliganism ekosu nyina FA president no otiase ke tukweku no otiase san kwasesem no mu di kire no odahu no uvise tutwasem no eye ni se wabo obi blue wahye obi blue uni obi akonto kwankwa na ye tutwasem ode bo apa obi tinkwa na ye tutwasem you stop me from say mama mi ura stadium dia eye tutwasem ni bia enti FA president no kwa na ka ho na tutwasem any bad officiating course oh yes fire them me ma okonya fire 0302211701 0302211702 0302211703 0302211704 Mr. FA president ni kan bi na tutwasem koso tutwasem se okotamale ni abo uko akulase baby ni abo uko akulase baby football yabo yakontokwa wom football to trust him. Every president in me call the or think for Bobo me. It any class in the bus stadium. Otina me catch on say. To trust him and cost you nano. More fire every president and say, what can pan a bad officiating and talk was a more cost. Nanka doma ho, woman koso and monk for sa. Oh, malfire. Mammy mo be just a second. Arafat, 1 minute per yaitu.
Never can say, the Ghana League, a Kosra, yet none, ye benefited. Others, the house of Bobo, not never free, now as I say, legal we are that. What I say, how to move some and need it. I know what the water, so for Shan and need it. If you have a threat of in a higher 30.
Ambule me too. Ambule.
Thank you. Look at Anti, never comment down.
And one at that one.
Because every president or no idea could be anymore.
Oh, yes. Now, Pammy feed the war.
The question that you have anyone can put in here with now the whole fireman, but the use of a ball, what about promoter money the ball. And you're fine. Oh, never know. Every president requires to us with you. Oh, Jack, to trust them no can be. Yeah. What she be fireman.
You too.
Go in a consumer motor. Fireman not in there. As American or you know to do. But it was in there, young to generate energy. I want Kazakh to go. Say, or you know, go fireman or say, a video. Never we say never to a woman. The man that's a walk baby. Which what you want
to trust something, processor.
On your own.
Champagne to trust them if you happy for now, happy president. Champagne, more fire. More fire. Officiating in the
every president, no, there will be gathered on the Columbia, Media Minister and President,
Hello. Hello. Hey, me say, I said we see here one tiana, woman can so be say. Missy Aminu shadow say president of Flatten and Kofano inside this woman in Bakunto Combo Met. You have a come out of him. Etienne now catch one emotion. I don't know if the person last some kana.
Come on, commentator, I will also team. Come on, go there. Give them in the house, boy. Emma, I mean, I don't go past there. I'm more motivated. The money to become someone moving on here. You know, I am performing so already. Jim Jesse. You can't be him.
More fire. Mate, you film. Wow, you're penny every president, I director or dreams. Okasa, so will be out, will be every one. We see in film. Ah, Charlie. Also, me too, more fire. I am a person who I am a penny professional. More fire, I was saying.
President my party. You see, so I last that many things by someone. Ghana need to go now to only a man like you on the anything.
To track a woman,
moving good stadium, but don't move stadium. So Ghana need to go mad, one round, that is teaching a and then also the camp. We are that president morning. President, like I say, President, my mama. I only have a Dominican, I only can go to Ghana.
Bofa grandpa me too na am fi say loka no kura na me catch law me ni me nka me hear video na me dey about come asem because I'm the fireman we betie the kura na me ni loka entro ka hu hia me enya me hwe me si ka to kura kura ni ko fo so mo pa cho no mo pa cho yes video me the best fire wo mu sa o ka so be here to trasem wa ma fireman ko said ma kwa we ogina wo che yellow yi wo so hia me sika Usha TV na kwa no say yellow no to hia me sika bia nonsense na nkofo bun nkofo twese kan kum nkofo wo park asia mo se mo wa fi president papa bi wono ni park wono we to trasem mo fire mo nyina no mo nyai kwasasam no ye tie o grandpa
okay ni tell this ni before ni o ko so sa mo pa mo se bring back the lab. Then back the lamb, na say obi ko park akọsẹ bọọla mo tiri di pravo di sẹ mo ma ne nkọ park.
If you need mulch, we've got you covered at the Home Depot, where you can get 3 bags of Vigoro Premium Wood Mulch for only $10. Protecting your plants? Mulch. Accenting your landscaping? Mulch. Stabilizing moisture levels and guarding your garden? Mulch. Mulch. Protect your yard and bring on spring with black, red, and brown Vigoro Premium Wood Mulch at a new lower price of 3 bags for $10. Right now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Valid March 5th through May 17th. In-store only. Color selection varies by store. Limit 60 bags per customer while supplies last.
Prince, fire me and queen Prince. More fire. More fire.
Because what kind of press na ketu Ghana lake ni di do kwa re the queen number to na attractive. Na Ghana lake na ete. Ghana lake na attractive but the share the lake na say. Na di ngombe ni for mo na betra kunya so a ati omo ti ane dashi. On ka so ni juma pano. E mo juma ne nkasa ma no.
No fire. Fantastic. On hwe so nya juma no. The next election over winning walking home. Fire upon them. To trust somebody is a bad officiating. And we here this time 21st century. More fire. Oh yeah, I'll be back.
I say boom boom boom, no let me hear say well. I say boom boom boom, no what about to say well. I say boom boom boom, no what about to say well. I say boom boom boom, no let me hear say well.
Mohammed Kwaba eba Dum TV so die adwono kasiete wawie mi America sene so midin edokatachi eje sikapa afei nsam no enchemu eni wafimpi no ne adwono opanyi ba kwa MPP amanyoko no mu ahye bedwom dibre no na wo pribi e wo sai wo sudokum peso no eso nsem bia wode yato dwan ne sese obi yade a wo sai ye pa no ti Ghana mampanyi na nado danko akufuado ene na aban Ghana de hyembo mababa na wombo maba so pa ye sanse o mabre mu no ena keteke ye hu se ye adwuma gidigidi.
I follow within the Shire Usudoku constituency and a district in Pessoa Soa, yes, project of Hoa, Nanado, or yet. And now the way, Mania Jopania. Rail station, train now, warrior, was a woman. And when you green book, another year and say, or year rail line from Tema to Impakadam. Our terminals are where a woman who fit them over Finia, Abeduma Jopanya. A Juma won't lie, about 90% complete. Ain't Chibiano. So, could you be with them? Haboa? Would they buy? And we here, so the Faka. Shai Sudokua. Predominantly, no, dear.
Yentwakasian was so now suffer be the children senior from a good young so your nuclear Rashibijania with Jinem, Emma this year water qua in Swayem, George Mrekuduka, and Swakasa, or Trader and this amount you can help man down so that Yakrada, Saint Peswan so on Rashibijam di Breno, or Mitimiaji, Eddie, a fan name, West and say, MP Famano Coneso Homotia, says Acunyano, in free woman insa.
Your piano, I am in a park. LPP, you better kunim. Yeah, and the more I get to, I want to I will be a self for 9 so I need to phone about 2 Mrs. here and Kagana for you. And 83, a commerce I have a beer. Yamin away at home. And another down Kufuado. How do you prepare?
So now for insurance and for an penny for one more, if you really water force, this one so then cry, Manegana by the summer modina, now artifact and building projects, young penny for Johnny J. Mon one brown in Strawberry, one by for moment, and one and print you into me, Uncle.
Despite all this, we still have little challenges with our place. There have been facilities started since 2002 that the sword was cut for receptive facility. That has a lot of rooms in it. We have a museum, we have library, we have showrooms, we have restaurant, toilet, kitchen, a drumming place, display of all sorts of wares is within this block. It is a very beautiful one. The design, very beautiful, and it's at its completion stage, but abandoned.
So na meji na wie kasete wa medesum ye no media simidin edokatachi ejesikapa.
A radio talk show your friend say UK ani nyina mu ohun se ebi edikan na ebi susu etietie wanama na pia o yemo akwa aba eba asantemem enimiye se obefa ha ansa na wasan akọ ohima ekrum medamase epi na mekau se UK for mama memamo filabi mate.
Test awaits the Black Queens as they seek to build a very competitive team that is capable of winning laurels for the country. They will come against Senegal this afternoon at the Accra Sports Stadium. Head coach of the team, Nora Hoptel, has been speaking about the importance of such international friendlies. How do we get money when it comes to the Black Stars? But unfortunately, the domestic competitions like the Ghana Premier League lacks sponsorship. Well, former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, George Efrie, says it's about time the football governing body puts together a data that suggests that football contributes massively to the economy of the country. And UEFA Champions League football returns tonight. It is Manchester City versus Bayern Munich. A repeat of the two managers that met in 2021 for the grand finale of that competition. Thomas Tuchel versus Pep Guardiola. Who wins it tonight? Time would tell. We also have live commentary of that game on Joy 99.7.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Memorial Day sale, May 26th through June 5th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. One more welcome to the Easter Monday edition of the Marketplace. Coming up in this edition, stabilizing global economy and banking sector, as well as rising debts of developing countries set to dominate annual World Bank IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C. We will connect with our correspondent, George Yafe, who is attending the meeting, plus speak to an economist on that. Also in this bulletin, interest rates rise marginally as government recalls a slight oversubscription of its treasury bill sale. We shall be telling you more on that. Also in this bulletin, state insurance company to partner with the National Insurance Commission to strengthen education on insurance coverage.
In collaboration with NIC, we are educating the public. And in our own way, we are also marketing. We organize storms to educate the people.
We have details of these and many others coming your way in a moment. Please stay. Pleasure, I could stay on. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Let's now start off from the IMF, because stabilizing the global economy, banking system, and rising debts of developing countries. And of course, these are the issues to dominate the annual World Bank IMF spring meeting, which is set to officially open in Washington, D.C. Joy Business's George Yafe will join us pretty soon with more on that. But speaking ahead of that meeting, Managing Director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, said about 15% of low-income countries are already in debt distress, and another 45% face high debt vulnerabilities.
I want to make a double plea on their behalf. Help them handle the burden of debt, which has made life in this country so much harder because of multiple shocks in the last years. And secondly, help ensure that the IMF continues to be in a position to support them in the years ahead. Let me start with debt. About 15% of low-income countries are in debt distress, an additional 45% are near it. About a quarter of emerging market economies are at high risk, facing default-like borrowing costs. And this has raised a legitimate concern about the potential wave of debt restructuring cases.
All right, so this is where we have to bring in my colleague George Yafe, who is attending that meeting. And George, grateful you could join me on the Marketplace. First off, help us appreciate what this meeting is all about, George. Kindly unmute for me, George. So if you have, I'm asking, give us an update on what basically this meeting is all about. George, we are unable to hear you. All right, so you've got to work on your sound, and George, and we will get back to you as and when you rectify that. But just so you know, the IMF World Bank spring meeting will be happening tomorrow, and of course, we are learning that major issues that will dominate that meeting will be the debt vulnerabilities among emerging countries, including Ghana and other countries as well. And my colleague George Yafe is attending that meeting, and pretty soon will join us to connect with us. We shall also get a perspective of an economist, Seriam Kawo from the University of Cape Coast Business School, to also speak to us on this issue. We do know how the issue about IMF and of course Ghana is going in the country, especially at the time we are looking forward to securing a deal from the International Monetary Fund. So certainly this meeting is key to Ghana, and we shall explore all angles in relation to this. But we've got to move on to some other stories. If George is not on yet, we shall connect to George and bring him on to speak to the issues happening in Washington, D.C. But the state insurance company, SIC, says it is collaborating with the National Insurance Commission to enhance education on insurance coverage.
Penetration has been low since below 1% in 2009. It has come up now. Currently a little below 2%, but as an insurance industry, like you said, it's challenging, but we are up to the task, and we are in collaboration with NIC. We are educating the public, and in our own way, we are also marketing. We organize storms to educate the people. And as you know, SIC is a big company. We have 46 outlets and with over 600 agents. With that, we are making some inroads in terms of currently also we are introducing what we call the Campus Secure, which is very attractive to the millennials. Okay. And so somehow we are coming gradually. The insurance industry should be able to make milestones in terms of the penetration. Okay. Yes, so far I think we are making some efforts, and hopefully we'll be able to get the insurance public to stem up.
Now, interest rates rose marginally as government recorded a slight oversubscription of its treasury bills, according to its latest auction by the Bank of Ghana. The rising rates in the tandem were the policy rate increased by the central bank. We've got more for you in this report.
The auction results show that the yield on the 91-day T-bill went up by 0.31% to 19.69%, whilst that of the 182-day T-bill increased to 22.24% from 21.85% the previous week. The rate on the 364-day T-bill also surged to 26.95%. Some analysts have described the recent increase in the interest rate on the treasury market as not surprising because the current rates do not match the prevailing macroeconomic condition. The policy rate is presently going for 29.5%, while average lending rate hover around 38%. Meanwhile, the government recorded a marginal 6.16% oversubscription of the T-bill sale to the tune of 1.88 billion cedis. It, however, accepted 1.85 billion cedis, more than the targeted amount of 1.76 billion Ghana cedis. Chunk of the bids came from the 91-day T-bills. The government accepted all the bids from the 91-day and the 182-day T-bills. 1.293 billion Ghana cedis and 422 million cedis were obtained from these instruments. However, it accepted 140 million Ghana cedis out of the 167 million tendered for the one-year bill.
And we've got to go back to our earlier story where the IMF and, of course, the World Bank spring meeting will be happening tomorrow. And my colleague, George Yafe, pretty sure has gotten a better connection and joins me live from Washington, D.C. to update us with the latest on that. Grateful, George, you could join me on the marketplace. I earlier asked you to give us, an update on basically what this World Bank IMF meeting will all entail.
Hello, Morris, can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, my data.
If you can hear me, how critical this meeting is. It's very critical because it is bringing together almost all the central bank governors and then finance ministers from around the world, deliberate on issues that matter so much to the global economy. You heard earlier on the IMF talking about pricing threat of emerging markets, not just developing countries, and that is another issue that is going to dominate discussion. So this meeting is actually quality of all finance. can do to ensure that the global economy is quite safe?
All right, so what are the key issues that are likely to dominate these meetings, George?
Well, in your preamble, you spoke about the debt issues, and it has been a big concern for the IMF. And why is it a big concern? Because of the contagion. You think that Ghana having a debt issue is not a problem. Why should we care? Because don't forget that Ghana has borrowed from some banks, we borrowed from some international financiers as well. And any delay in settling these debts could have a rippling impact on other economies. That is why the IMF is working on this target to contain or deal with these rising debt issue of all that it doesn't get out of hand. When I talk about the global economy, there's talk about US going into a recession. There's also talk about UK. And for you, some would say that, and so what? Well, why should I care? But when these countries go into recession, it has serious impact on demand for our commodities. So what can the IMF do together with the World Bank? Try and mitigate the shocks of these economies going into recession and how it doesn't have serious impact on developing countries like Ghana. That is why one, to look at how they can protect the global economy in terms of possible threats of countries or these huge economies going into recession, and also the global issues with US. There's a question that what again can be done to ensure that these shocks are contained and doesn't get out of that, and also the debt issues as well. And that is why Mexico and Ghana will be interested in, because Ghana's debt stock has been described as unsustainable. That is why Ghana MD is leading a campaign to engage the G24 countries, China, and even the Paris Club, if they can take the steps to help restructure the debt stock of countries like Ghana.
George, I'm struggling to hear you, but I want to find this from you. Is Ghana's delegation in town? And of course, what next?
Yes, of course. They are already in town. Those who are coming from the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Ghana, and also other actors and support. The actors and experience in town. There's the World Bank as well. So they are in town. This meeting is very, very critical for Ghana because government is hoping that the behind the scenes engagement, they can fast track negotiations on the various programs that should be approved by the board. Don't forget that all the actors in Africa are already engaged in the G4 countries, the what do you call it, the Paris.
All right, we've lost George there. We shall connect back to him as and when we get a better feed, and of course he updating us on the latest in Washington DC. It is a better time we have to connect with the an economist and also a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast Business School, Seram Kawo, for his perspective on this matter. Grateful, Mr. Kawo, you could join me on the marketplace. As you rightly heard, George, the issues to dominate the meetings would have to do with debt, sustainability, and of course the banking system across all emerging economies. Now, how keen should Ghana be on this?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's an issue where the government of Ghana would have to look at how they are going to convince the other creditors to buy into their situation. And so what is currently going to happen is that, as Wafi has said, there's going to be a lot of engagement with these creditors once they are in the US to determine how they will be able to help the country Ghana.
So, how strategic would you say our delegation would have to be in this regard?
Yeah, so this issue will be that we need to have so that the teams will be able to meet the various countries. There is the need for us also to in order to convince these countries to help us out. And also, we need to share with them the various measures that we have taken as a country to ensure that this is not repeated in the future.
Quite recently, the World Bank, came out with the report indicating that there's not been any progress made in, Ghana's quest to, settle the issues when it comes to the debt restructuring with its external creditors. And going into the IMF World Bank spring meeting, how do you think things will be playing out?
Yeah, so that report that came out is a bit worrying for us in Ghana, because that easily shows that our leaders were not up to the task. They've not been doing the engagement that they need to make. And so it's a great opportunity for them to ensure that they meet these people. And I'm very sure that delegation from Ghana, including Bank of Ghana, are in the U.S. to meet these countries. And so there is a lot of power play in place. The political dynamics, the geopolitics of the world will be playing a role. And so Ghana will need to position itself in a way that it will not be seen as siding with a particular country, especially when Russia, China form the BRICS and other countries that are fighting the U.S. And so this very issue is very important for all of us, so that our delegation would now show some bit of commitment. They go there with data. They don't go there with empty hands. So that when they are speaking to the data that is available to them.
Now, let me take you back to a comment made by the managing director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, basically appealing to members of G20 and, of course, the Paris Club to, forgive countries that, have issues with debt. And, of course, Ghana is of no exception. Do you think that message will sink down well to them, especially in this era of the IMF World Bank spring meetings?
All right. Thank you very much. If the executive director is pleading with other developed countries to help the emerging developing economies for debt, let me term it restructuring, where some debt will be forgiven or a reduction in the interest rate or grace period will be given for these countries. It also implies that the board should be ready to help some of these countries so that they also borrow from IMF. And so there should be some concessions that will be made from time to time. It's not a matter of just coming out on air and then pleading with these individuals.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of a new kitchen package of state-of-the-art appliances with innovations to make everything from meal prep to cleanup easier. Making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. Bring on spring with savings on select kitchen appliances in-store and online at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
At Rocket, we know buying and selling a home is a lot. Rocket has a way to help with that. When you sell with Rocket Homes, you can get up to $7,000 back after closing. Plus, you can buy with Rocket Homes and finance with Rocket Mortgage to get up to $10,000 cash toward closing from Rocket Mortgage. We know, it's a pretty big deal. And one you can get only with Rocket. Visit onlywithrocket.com to get started.
For purchase transactions only, must lock rate between 331 and 831. Call 8337-ROCKET for conditions and restrictions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
IMF itself must make some commitment by meeting these countries and telling them the plans that they have. And in actual fact, the statement or the plea by the director for IMF simply shows that if we do not work with these emerging economies, they are the people that we make the money from. And if we allow them to go down, it will affect the entire world economy. And for that matter, let us all of us work together to ensure that we make provisions and sustain this country so that we can all be in business. And humanity is going to play a role to ensure that we make provisions and sustain this country so that we can all be in business. And humanity is going to play a role here. We have a lot of hunger, unemployment around the world. Pandemics have endeavored around the world. Pandemics have endeavored the time for world leaders to show some amount of leadership and put humanity first. In that light, I am sure the plea might be able to work.
Are you suggesting that the IMF hasn't done that so far?
They might have done that. They might have done that. I'm not by way saying that that has not been done. But what I'm saying is that after that plea, Ghana needs to go back to the IMF and get a member of the IMF board that are from some of these countries to talk to the power brokers to ensure that we get this deal successfully. We don't just have to sit back and tell ourselves that, oh, they have pleaded with them, so they are going to accept what they have said. That might not be the situation. We need to be more strategic in whatever we do. And so going back to ask the board members, and in fact, by this time we should have even contacted every board member of the IMF, telling them our plans and getting their views and incorporating it into whatever that we are doing. The backroom maneuvers, the backroom negotiations and strategies are very keen, and we shouldn't leave any stone unturned when we want to get this particular deal, which is very critical to the development of our country, Ghana.
Sam, there is this growing uncertainty as to when we will get a deal, but from where you sit, do you think we can get a deal?
It's going to be very difficult. But from where I'm sitting and what we have seen, that all the conditions that have been set out in terms of the domestic revenue mobilization, when Parliament has passed the bill, there is a lot of kickbacks on this particular issue where industry is not buying into it. The consultative meeting that needs to be heard is not done. And so for now, we don't know whether the president has assented his signature to it, making it into law, because that will be required as evidence. Then we also have to convince the G20 countries, that's the Paris Club, to give us some firm assurance that they are ready to help us out. Then we have to go back to China and get a deal from China as well, so that we can present all these things to the board. It is possible when you look at the pronouncement by the country director of IMF in Ghana and Africa, and then the IMF executive directors themselves, they are committed to it. But it's not just going to come on a silver platter. It's going to take some time for us to get it. You know, last year when this issue came up, we said that it is not likely that Ghana will get it in the next quarter. Yeah. And so the quarter has ended. So roughly we should be targeting this quarter somewhere in June or August for us to get the deal going through.
What are the expectations of the economy if positive signals are given by the IMF about Ghana securing the deal?
Yeah, the positive issues that will come up with is that a lot of the things that we do are imported, and so we depend solely on the exchange rate for some of these things. Businesses at the port are not flourishing. So when you look at what happened on the news for the last time, we are being told that port activities have reduced. A lot of the importers are not able to import most of the things. If you go to the spare parts dealers, they are not ready, they are not able to travel. Their capital has reduced over time. Some people have actually lost their jobs and their businesses through this particular one. So the positive thing that will come up is that once the dollar is coming in, exchange rate will stabilize, somehow reduced. That will also help us in the oil or the fuel that we import for our various activities. In that way, we'll have prices of items on the market going down. If inflation comes down, that will positively affect everybody that we have, everybody in the country. And so that way it will help us. But then if it is just a word of mouth that we are talking about and these things will not materialize, then that will not do well for us. And also our leaders, if these things are also going to help us, our leaders need to share with us the programs that they have. They need to have a wider consultative meeting. They need to listen to civil society, other political parties, those in academia, so that the ideas that we bring up, all these things should be incorporated. We need to have a lot of education on how we are going to go forward, so that these funds, that when they come, we are not going to misuse it, especially when we are going to enter into an election year, when we know that political parties are only interested in political power, and so there will be a lot of expenditure that they are going to incur. But my hope is that once IMF is coming in, these things will be monitored and Ghana will be the winner.
Thank you very much, Seriam Kawo. He is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast Business School, sharing his comprehensive analysis on the World Bank IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C. And Trust Joy Business, we shall be bringing you up to the minute on every latest development in that part of the country for you. Let's move on to some other stories. And the Tema region of the Electricity Company of Ghana has embarked on a swap as part of measures to help account for power customers while using illegally, aside other challenges. Now, out of the 99 customers visited at Spintex in Nungwa district of the region, the power distributor detected 48 illegal connections, which included meter bypass, meter tampering, among others, over a 2-day period. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has more. All right, so we shall bring you that story in our subsequent bulletins. But that was it for the marketplace for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka. You can always get business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Always a pleasure serving you. Have a lovely Easter celebration.
Marketplace Good Friday edition. Coming up, we'll hear from Senior Country Manager of PricewaterhouseCoopers, his thoughts on the tax measures passed by Parliament and why he thinks it will be difficult for President Akufo-Addo to make changes.
Once this change, amendments can be introduced or different things can be done. But the specific question you asked me as to whether, having gone through the parliamentary procedure, some amendment can be made at this point in time, I don't think so.
And as government moves to mobilize more revenue, we hear from an economist, Professor Charles Aka, who is asking for wasteful expenditure to be checked.
The expenditures are not that high. It's rather there's wastage. So what we should be calling for is efficiency in government expenditure and plugging down on or closing down wastage and corruption.
Also ahead, an extensive interview with Chief Executive of Maxwell Investments Group, Maxwell Ampon, who is advocating more investment in agric as well as formalizing to make the sector more attractive.
Agro sector within Africa is very much untapped and it's heavily informal. So we had the idea that if we were to enter a largely informal sector with a formal approach, that might give us number one, a little bit of difficulty, but number two, it's a huge opportunity should we be able to succeed.
My name is Darryl Powell. Thanks for being with us. Details coming up. In our first story, senior country manager of accounting and auditing firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, Vish Eshawo, has said it will be difficult for President Akufo-Addo to make changes to the tax measures passed by Parliament recently. The business community has petitioned the president to review the tax measures and not to give his assent to it. But speaking on PM Express Business Edition, Mr. Eshawo said the president has few options now.
I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Nor do I. Nor do I claim to know about parliamentary or procedure of that nature. But as far as I know, once the legislature has passed a bill into law, the only thing left is to receive presidential assent. I stand to be corrected, but I do not believe the president can choose to strike out clause 1, 2, and 5, for example, and leave the rest. So, to the best of my knowledge, the best the president can do is decline to give assent.
But he has 90 days, I understand, to work with him, that if he doesn't do that, he needs to write back to Parliament and give his reasons.
So that's the point, that Parliament, in its wisdom, has passed these bills into law. So if there's to be any amendment, has to go back through the process. But the president cannot just sit in his office and decide to strike out or to amend or whatever else.
What does it make of the case for some of the interest groups that are still pushing for something to be done because they're saying that these taxes are going to hurt them?
No, I think it's fine. You know, associations, concerned businesses, concerned individuals always have the right and the ability to continue to make their case. And then as circumstances change, amendments can be introduced or different things can be done. But the specific question you asked me as to whether, having gone through the parliamentary procedure, some amendment can be made at this point in time, I don't think so.
Well, as government moves to mobilize more revenue, economist Professor Charles Aka is asking the government to also check wasteful expenditure.
Some of the taxes that have been introduced will end up frustrating business and end up frustrating government's own efforts at economic recovery and prolong a recession rather than overcoming them. And that's where the concern should be. So we are not against tax revenue, but I don't think, I know some people are calling for cutting down on the expenditure. And I totally disagree because our expenditures are not that high. It's rather there's wastage. So what we should be calling for is efficiency in government expenditure and plugging down on or closing down wastage and corruption. If you don't do that and you call for a blanket cut down on government expenditure,